Tuesday, June 4th, 1985. You missed the new titles over the weekend because you were too busy stuffing your face at the Sizzler buffet and found yourself in a 2-day food coma. Today's flick is a no-brainer. Its cover sports a semi in flight, jumping over a train while being chased by motorbikes and a slug bug with missiles on its roof. Explosions explosively exploding from its rear bumper. Today's mission is to join Forrest Tucker on his Thunder Run.
I have to share with you.
Hello. Welcome to B-Side Video Rentals. I am Jeremy Briggs.
And I'm Jenny Wenger.
What do you have to share with me, Jenny?
I have to share that with you that while you were introing that and you said a semi-in flight, I thought that is very scary for women.
Good God. You should tell me those things before I let them out of my mouth.
It's your job, lady. You got to make it all the way hard.
Good God.
And so then I missed my cue to start the theme song because I was so like the worst years of my life.
And my best years. I like the extra work.
You're the one that's relatable in this duo.
Is that true?
I'm not afraid of the hard work. And I'm a housewife. I mean, that is hard work. I'm sorry, ladies.
Hey, I'm a house husband.
He says double glassing it.
What else am I supposed to do?
I know.
What, am I supposed to read the news?
Oh, I guess so.
Tuesday, June 4th, 1985. And these are your not-so-current events.
Networks are being forced to rethink their approach to miniseries as their popularity has waned due to oversaturation. The miniseries has been going strong since it began in 1977 with the overwhelming success of the 12-hour film Roots, but has faltered with this week's 19-hour film, Girl, You Need to Dye Them Roots. On Friday, the Navy tested the vertical launching system and ability of the Tomahawk cruise missile, which is a major upgrade from the Tamagoose and the Tamachicken cruise missile. You silly goose. A silly goose wrote that.
More than 500 CBS radio and television affiliates, labor unions, and special interest groups filed petitions opposing Ted Turner's bid to take over CBS Incorporated. After filing the petition, they circled the building singing, "Don't Ted Turner around! Uh-oh! The commissar's in town! Uh-oh!" Thank you! More than 200,000 people applied for secret and top secret clearance to handle classified information last year, 50% more than a decade ago. Federal officials say one reason for the growth is the increase in classified documents in recent years, but mostly the growth is due to my Uncle Donnie's yarn wall of conspiracies.
I have one of those, and I'm on to something. The Grumman Corporation said it would give the Navy a refund after being charged $659 for an ashtray, claiming it was mislabeled ashtray, a common nickname for the Navy's in-house male prostitute.
Oh, good old ass play tray.
Oh, Lord. My dad was in the Navy. Files have been seized in a Baltimore apartment with detailed plans to bomb up to a dozen federal offices in the Washington area. The self-proclaimed revolutionaries keep the plans in a file marked in progress, located right next to another file labeled Sexy Cat Pictures. Cats are very sexy creatures.
That's a sexy picture.
Yeah. That's why women do cat eyes. We have cat eye glasses. We know what men want to see. Meow.
A 53-year-old grandfather who does 100 push-ups a day graduated from the police academy on Friday, becoming the oldest rookie police officer in New York City's history. His retirement party is set for Tuesdays at Shakey's Pizza. He had a good run.
I like that you use Shakey's.
Where else do you celebrate things? It's Shakey's Pizza.
Hey,
Hormel announced that it is ending its contract with the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, which represented 1,500 workers at its meatpacking plant after they voted to protest Hormel's 23% pay cut. Workers have claimed that they can no longer afford to eat dessert, saying, "How could we have any pudding if we don't pack your meat?"
Love
That's
a
for all
good
the
meat
kids.
packing joke.
That's a joke for all
That's
the
for the
youth.
kids. We know kids want meat packing jokes. Federal officials announced today that they were taking emergency action to ban a drug widely known as ecstasy. Ecstasy. I have to say it that way. Saying the abuse of the drug had become a problem. For pussies! Hold your ecstasy, you lightweight pansies.
You
It's a beautiful
lightweights.
thing. It's a beautiful thing. Riot-equipped deputies engaged in a 3-hour battle yesterday at the Los Angeles County Jail with 65 prisoners armed with broom handles and cups of bleach. In completely unrelated news, the prison has just released its brand new line of acid-washed uniforms.
Oh, they look so good.
Very trendy.
The Supreme Court, not just
There's one.
the Supreme Court ruled that an isolated act of police misconduct cannot ordinarily make a city subject to a damage suit for violating an individual's civil rights. The only damage suit I've got was at Goodwill.
You can find some good stuff there, though.
Oh, I often do.
I love thrifting.
The University of Florida still regards its 1984 football team as the Southeastern Conference champion and refuses to recognize a decision last week to strip the squad of its first conference title, stating, "In our hearts, 1984 will always be the year of the Gator. But mainly because that giant gator that ate Billy, he ate his asshole. Not his asshole, but his asshole. You know, I mean his whole ass. Not just his ass. He ate more than his ass." That sounds perverted. Like his body and his ass.
Well, the ass is the best part. It's got a lot of meat.
It's got a lot of meat.
Officials in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware have modified their early predictions that a growing gypsy moth population could severely damage the region's forests this summer. The modification was made in fear of furthering harmful gypsy moth stereotypes. I was very nervous about saying gypsy. Can you tell? Cancelled!
It's okay. Can I say gypsy
Cancelled!
moth? And finally, a Soviet train consisting of 28 freight cars disappeared 2 years ago, and the investigation has been passed from office to office and has now ended up at the Central National Office of the Soviet Rail Ministry in Moscow. But to me, the mystery is obvious. It's that dirty, no-good son of a bitch David Copperfield playing the long game.
That man's the devil.
He's the devil.
He's doing Satan's work. Look at them outfits.
And that was your not-so-current events.
Let me tell you about the flying semi running into our face. I love this.
What, a flying semi?
No, I love Thunder Run.
Oh, you loved Thunder Run. Great, we're getting into it.
You like semis. I
Or
don't.
should I have said an 18-wheeler? I was trying to keep the mouth less full. Wait, hold on. That's not what I meant. With words. Heavens!
I really love this.
There was a definite mark in the film that the film changed for me. It was like, what is happening to, oh my God, this is the best.
Spoilers. That's what this is all about.
Spoilers. That's what this show is. It's just
Yeah.
recounting the movie and spoiling it for everyone. So go watch it first.
Yeah.
Or don't. I don't care. I'm not your daddy.
Yeah.
But I want to be.
But if you're looking for one.
My wife doesn't mind.
She's very understanding. So I immediately, the first thing that I noticed that I was so stoked about is that Clifford Wenger wrote this. I'm like, am I related to him? Is he my grandpa?
And for the purpose of this podcast, 100%.
100%. That's my
Did I do any research?
No. Did I contact Ancestry.com and say, I'll give you $300 if you'll connect me to this man?
Nope, I didn't do that either.
but the writing was very, like, I like the way that Maggie and Charlie talk to each other.
Oh, you like Maggie and Charlie's conversation. So Charlie, for those of you very familiar with Forrest Tucker, that's Charlie. He's our main guy. But we don't even meet Charlie until, I don't know, 10 minutes into the film?
Yeah. Holy action sequence.
So like the couple driving?
Yeah.
So it starts out with like what appears to be just a couple, like a cute couple driving a romantic evening drive, and then all of a sudden are brutally murdered. Explosions and
like
machine gun spray.
80s machine gun spray.
But that went into like slow motion deaths. It was like they got sprayed, and then they slowed it down, and then sped it back up.
I mean, if I'm going to watch an 80s action movie, I need somebody to do that kind of, where you can see them in their eyes going, I like that.
And then they pull out this box, which got those like radiation stickers all over it, like the stupidest looking box.
Yeah.
Like seconds before the car explodes. They're like, get the box.
That's a very cool way to open a movie.
Yep, then we got our titles.
Yeah, and that's where I saw my grandfather's name.
And it goes into a really great song.
Yeah, that's what I wrote. Jay Levy ain't fucking around. That's the music guy. Like,
yeah, this song like comes in like an old school, like it felt kind of like one of those like really good Kenny Loggins type movie.
That's exactly
songs.
what G texted me too.
Yeah. That's how it felt. It was like, okay, I'm like watching Caddyshack or something.
Yeah. Wacky. Did you see those guys die?
But like then that song kind of comes in and you're like, okay, this is like fun. It's got a fun vibe. And that doofus guy's driving his yellow truck. Yeah.
I like the juxtaposition of the music. Like it would be like a really cool 80s action song, and then another time it goes to Cotton Eye Joe.
Oh, right. But like, we'll talk about the Cotton Eye Joe because I have some things to say about that.
Yeah, but the music was great. I was intrigued. It was good.
What was his name? Jay
Levy.
So he did a movie 2 years later, and he reused that song.
Did he really?
He did.
What film?
And honestly, like the film is actually, I'm looking for it because it was already on my watch list for this.
Pretty smart. That's what Genevieve just said. 1987.
Pretty smart, yes. Smart. He was like, this song...
It's a vibe.
...is a hit. Like, I don't know how this song didn't blow up. Maybe we try it again because it's a hit. And we just got to get it through that mainstream.
Yeah. I don't blame him at all. I love that.
Chris is driving through the desert, and he's heading to the casino where he walks directly into the ladies' room. And then Kim is there mopping the floor, and he's like, let's do it. Like, immediately you're like, what? And she's like, what if I told you? You have to stop doing this. Like, he just walked. He's like, is my girlfriend cleaning the floors? She clean a piss off the floor again? Because I'm going to go have sexy time with her.
I got to fuck her, yeah. Gotta fuck her.
And immediately after that, they go out, and they're kind of like talking a little bit. And he's like, no, I'm, and he can't think of the word, so he just keeps going, I'm, and she's like, what you are is horny. And this like large woman turns around like appalled, like they're in church. Like,
This
you're
is
in
a casino.
like cigarette hanging out of their mouth. This is for children with that mouth.
There's a lot of that kind of
you.
contradictory behavior in this. Like, it's like the dirtiest, grossest behavior is fine, but then there's a couple of things.
Like, she said horny.
Yeah.
And the woman's like, oh, God. Wash it out.
And she's like, I'm trying to.
Then I think we go into the official meeting with George in the military. The private contractor, George, discussing the operation where they're trying to flush out the terrorists. This is the best truck driver or whatever. And then it cuts to like an old folks home with playing hoedown. It's an old folks hoedown.
Yeah.
And that's just when this Cotton Eye Joe song is going on. And it's not the traditional Cotton Eye Joe song.
No. And Maggie's getting passed around.
But like the song, correct me if I'm wrong. I listened back over and over. To me, it sounds like they're saying Cotton Eye Joe bullshit. Cotton Eye Joe bullshit.
They are, like, and she like quotes it later.
She quotes it later. She's just like bullshit. Cotton Eye Joe.
That's when she's cooking her pies or something. Yeah. She's in there like bullshit. Yeah, it's like the remix. And she lands in that other guy's lap, and she's like, hey, this is funny. And then goes over to the young girl sitting with her man. She's like, he's taken. Scram. You know?
Scram. But I love, like, dope. They do have the, like, Charlie and Maggie sit down, and they give us the whole, like, you gave up truck driving to buy a mine. What kind of mine is it? They don't even say. That's just...
Isn't it a cobalt mine or something? They keep saying like a cobalt mine.
I didn't even hear. I just kept going like, what the hell type of... It's just generic mine.
Yeah.
It was like rocks.
Yeah, they were saying
the rock
cobalt.
Mine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, so are we at the part where now they're coming to visit him?
We meet Jilly at this point. And I cannot forget Jill. I can't skip Jilly because this whole interaction. You still with Paul? Oh, yeah, because he's smart. Brains are sexy. Oh, yeah. And then, like, she's like, but I got to get going. Well, where's she going? She better be getting our drinks. That girl's a ding-a-ling. What?
She is wild as heck. I love her.
They peppered in a lot of weird characteristics with Jilly that are like never come to fruition. You're like,
no,
why? And we'll get to this in a second, but she runs off. And at the end of this conversation, like Maggie just goes off into this weird daydream and she just goes, non sequitur. I wish Kim and Chris would get married. Just total non sequitur. Cut to them doing it on a boat.
Yeah. Okay.
In the desert, like in a desert lake, doing it on a houseboat.
Oh, yeah. Slapping the alarm. Was it an alarm clock they slap? And they're like laying there in bliss, and she's going to go, but he's like, not yet. And they start going in for round 2.
And then I believe we get to the terrorists mapping out their plan.
Who said chestnuts out of fire? You got chestnuts made out of fire.
Oh, I don't remember that line.
It was right when we were introduced to Charlie's character, because that's right where it was. I said, who is this hunk in double denim? When you first see Charlie, he's wearing a double denim outfit.
Charlie's with Maggie walking out of a casino, and he sees a guy with a big scar on his face, and he says, gosh, I'd hate to meet that guy on a lonely desert road. Bum, bum, bum!
Sure is ugly.
That's a writing moment when you just sit back and go, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Bad, mean bald guy, bad vibes, foreshadowing. Yeah. So then this is the drag race, right?
Yes, it is. Them pulling up, fixing his car up, getting ready to do it, but they're concerned. who's going to take care of the police? Cut to a badass motorcycle chase.
Yeah.
Like,
really
I thought
good.
this was, like, really a solid motorcycle chase. And the cops are, like, trying to keep up, and this bike's going everywhere. Who is that guy?
And they landed in the water, which I got to tell you always gives me anxiety. Always. But we're in a movie and they just take a car because I'm like, oh my God, they had to get out on the first try. It's like back in the olden days, like the stunt people, some of them really died. Like
this stunt team.
Yeah. Insane.
They crush.
Yeah.
I thought they did a wonderful job. But who they as they get it, the biker gets away, they're like, who was that guy? Who was he? Reveal, it's Jilly.
Hell yeah. We know why Jilly's around now.
We know why she said, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I got something to do. She's got to distract the police. Now, this is what kills me, is we just set up that she is a badass biker chick.
Yeah.
And we let it go.
Yep, that's it. You just get to know that. I like that.
I want more of that.
I know. Like, no, you're going to just be a very horny person who does erratic things. I like this. And now Maggie pats George on the butt. Really perverted like.
Man, then, you caught a lot of Maggie action. I missed all this Maggie action. I loved
her. She patted him on the butt as he walked by, and I was like, yeah, girl, I'll get you a handful. They said something, a cool race guy says, a squirrel who hasn't got the bucks. Oh my God, it was so good. It was the guy who's challenging Chris.
Squirrel who ain't got the bucks.
These little one-liners are so good. And it's $1,000.
This is where we also learn that Chris, who's dating Kim, is Maggie and Charlie's grandson, but his parents passed away.
Yeah.
And so they're more or less his caretakers. And they show up at the drag race, and Maggie's like, don't you drag race?
Yeah.
Girl! That's what she says to Chris.
Yeah, totally. Word for word.
Verbatim.
Yeah. But you know where he gets his skills from, because his granddad is the best driver in the biz.
But like I gotta say, like the guy who says the squirrel line, that dude was badass. Like
he was.
I want to cosplay him in the bedroom.
He was awesome.
Because he's cool and also a loser. Which is a fetish. Get over it.
Emily's in for it.
Girl, damn. She loves a loser. Did you catch the moment during the celebration when he wins the drag race and everybody's like running? Is it Jilly who does this? Who runs up behind a guy and like oil checks him? No. There was like a thumb in the butt.
See, now you
like,
caught something I didn't catch.
Maybe it was a goose, but it looked like an oil check. Like she runs and like just goes boink, and the guy's like, whoa, and turns around and they start laughing. And it's such a split second thing. You're like, what just happened? Who made this decision?
And I also like that as soon as he wins, there's like 800 people there.
800.
Yeah, like it's like so many people are there for that scene.
You won $1,000.
Yeah, and then of course Jilly's in the back, completely trying to fuck Paul in public.
So then they go to celebrate at a bar, and Jilly is like, "We're gonna dance," and so they dance for a little bit. Paul becomes Paul because he's I don't even know what to call Paul. He's supposed to be a brainiac.
Science guy. He
sits down and then some horny bar guy is like, I'm going to dance with that fine piece of Jilly.
Yeah, because Jill gets up and starts like...
She's going at it, yeah.
And I love that the old man kept yelling, shake it.
Shake it.
Like the most disturbing shake it I've ever heard. Shake it.
Shake it.
I need to pause and take a bath.
So Paul, this is the part we kind of learn a little bit about Paul. He's a jealous boy.
Yeah.
He's a jealous boy.
He's protective.
Very protective. This guy starts dancing with Jilly. And did she seem fine with it?
I mean, she was like loosey-goosey feeling the music, but I think it wasn't until they started like pushing her side to side
and
between
Paul
each other.
Starts to puff up, but just gets tossed to the side like a rag doll.
She looked at him and she said, she's like, you don't look like you know science. Don't touch me. Yeah. And then after the fight and everything, they go back and this is the thing that freaked me out so much, is this weird shower scene where he seems it's like he has brain damage.
Do you want to bring that for an on-set speculation? What is going on in this scene? On set, what's happening?
This made me so uncomfortable. He is the skinniest man I have ever seen. He has an obvious concussion.
Obvious. He's struggling to stay on his feet. He's like gonna hold the walls, and Jilly's just like, sorry about it. You stood up for me. Can't help it.
I'm horny again.
Oops.
I'm wearing this set where I take the skirt off and my panties match the skirt and my bra matches all of it. I'm getting fucked tonight with this effort I put in.
And like, just what an odd juxtaposition of this whole scene of like her being as sexy as she can and him over the top, just like, oh, I'm confused and my
gets in the shower
hurts.
with his underwear on. She's like, give me those shorts, you're getting that dick out.
Like,
and then you see his wet boxer. Oh, okay.
Like, on set, how are you supposed to go like, no, but you need to be sexy. But would I be?
You need to be sexier and you need to be more in need of hospital.
Medical attention.
Can we up the volume on both of those things?
What's the direction? What direction? Okay, as an actor, I need a little bit of justification. Would I be not concerned about his concussion?
I don't love him as a person at all.
I'm just horny. My motivation is horny for science.
But if his brain is broken, he won't have science anymore. No, don't think about that.
Don't
Jilly.
think about
You're
it.
just very horny for this skinny science man with a concussion.
So, should I be turned on in this situation? She's practically gripping me. She's stripping me naked. I have to hold on to the ceiling and the side of this houseboat.
And they're like, no, just remain super like you're fighting going unconscious.
Yeah. No, you want to be, this should be borderline.
Right.
Borderline. Yeah. But it's not because you're a couple.
Yeah. And you're a man.
Yeah. That's is fine.
That's the rule.
This is fine. If you're out of it and concussed, as long as you're a man,
you can get raped. And it's fine. It's good. She's pretty.
She's pretty.
She wore a matching set to fuck you. So just let her.
You are not going to ruin this girl's plans. And also, she is way hotter than he deserves.
Yeah. Yeah. She is. It's true. So just sleep it off.
And she rides a bike. Sleep it off. Just let this poor guy. Ugh.
Okay, so that was a really weird scene.
George shows up to see Charlie.
The prospective buyers are the first thing, though.
I think they come right after. So George gets there. It's a very brief interaction. He kind of says, here's an offer, and it's
$250,000.
$250,000 if you do this plutonium job for us.
And in the 80s, that was a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Way more than it is now. It's basically like you'll be a millionaire.
It's Korean War and not Vietnam? I'm getting a note on the side here.
His Korean War buddy shows up, gives him money.
Yeah, so that's George. That's George.
IMDb says Korean, she says. Okay, great.
What are we watching? The sequel to MASH?
What I like, though, is after they do it and he asks him to keep a secret from Maggie, which I don't think is a good idea ever with the bond that they have, but whatever. He's got to think about it.
I think it's healthy to lie to your spouse. It makes for a good marriage. My wife doesn't know half the shit I do.
Oh my God.
She's in the other room listening to every word I'm saying.
She doesn't even know what a bathhouse is.
So after he says, okay, I'll think about it, Chris is like, ooh, what's this? And he's like, don't worry about it. We got investors on the way.
Yes. This is Paul's shining moment.
Yeah. Well, see, they gave us a little bit of detail on Paul about he's a jealous boy.
Jealous guy.
He's a jealous guy. But it's so silly to me. So we get to the investors come there. One guy stays behind. He sees Kim and Jilly sitting on a table, and he goes to grab their butts. First of all, sitting down, terrible butt grabbing position. That's like you're not getting any good butt. There's no good butt at the top.
Supporting.
You got to get on the bottom butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
The top butt, there's not much there. There's no nothing's going to come up, if you know what I mean.
It's not the meat and potatoes.
Upper butt. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
No.
So they go, and Paul, he's for some reason driving a front loader just to make it look like everybody's busy.
They told everybody, make it look busy for the investors.
And Maggie's like on this giant, like, brick-sized radio, orchestrating the whole thing. You go over there. You go over here.
And I think of all the people to put on the big machinery, maybe 25-pound Paul is a bad idea.
So he sees this situation happen, and he's like, oh, I'm going to throw dirt on these people's cars. And, of course, loses control, crushes the car, destroys the trailer.
A warehouse that's like, the trailer, it's like, you know those log cabins we used to build? It was like that easy to
just completely crush. There's a guy pooping on a potty. He's a potty pooper. You have to have the potty pooper.
If you're going to tear down a building, somebody has to have been shitting with a newspaper in it.
I love after all this chaos that happens, like Charlie comes out and they're all like, oh, well, it's all blown. This is ruined. And Kim's standing by Jilly and she goes, well, he shouldn't have goosed us. Shouldn't have goosed us. I don't know what to say.
What do we gain from pouring a bunch of rocks on these people's car? Now somebody's going to have to deal with it. This is where this kind of comedy gets me stressed out.
But now he's forced to take the job. He didn't want to take the job, but he has to take the job because of
he's going to pay for all this damage.
The brilliant Paul.
Yes, of course.
So he goes to George and he's like, okay, we're going to do this. And George gives him all these, like, this is how it's going to go. We've got all these different security measures. You got to get past this point. And there's these lasers that will chop intruders to pieces.
And this very private, very high detail meeting happens in the casino sitting at a slot machine in public. Super classified information. Which I'm just sitting there like, what is the fucking point of doing this in the casino? Like, I guess they just don't have locations. And then I found out why they did it in the casino. Got a nickel. And he gives George a nickel and he puts it in the slot machine. And I guess he was feeling lucky. And for a good reason. He won.
He won.
7.
He won. Yeah. He wins $1.
And he's just sitting there looking around like a badass, like, hell yeah.
But he did tell him, you'll be safe for the first 100 miles. We've got you covered. And Charlie's kind of like, I don't know. I'll go along with it. But what does he do? Like, he takes it to his crew. All these, like, college kids. Right. Come on, Paul. Hook it up.
Yeah.
My car up to specifications.
Yeah, and instead of getting in trouble with Maggie for keeping this very big secret from her, she makes him a hot apple pie.
Singing bullshit.
Bullshit. Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton Eye Joe. Bullshit. Like, that was a...
Yeah, she mentions that Maggie was having a great time in her kitchen alone. I mean, I would think with all these fucking idiot guys around driving through warehouses.
Being alone is probably the best situation you could be.
They probably fucking ruled for her. I got a pie made. I cleaned the kitchen. I got a lot of shit done.
So we have this whole thing, and they're like souping it up. We don't really know what they're doing to the truck, but they, on the side of it, they write Thunder. And this 18-wheeler is, I mean, if you want to call a machine beautiful, it's a beautiful piece of machinery. It's really clean cut, looks fantastic. And then they do this like real cheesy... Thunder it's run. So out of place. It just says Thunder on the side of it. And you're like, it looks real bad.
Oh, why did you do it bad? Yeah. And while they're doing that, by the way, Jilly gets horny again and fucks them in the truck.
In the truck.
Yeah.
Silly Jilly.
Listen, Mom and Dad, I booked a movie. What's your part like? Well, I'm a badass on a motorcycle and I'm really horny. Those are the two things.
And this, like, right after this part, after they soup it all up, because Chris has been just, come on, you got to take me with you, got to take me with you. Charlie has this weird TV movie, like 3-minute TV movie section here.
Yes.
Where with
very
Kim,
touching.
And it's just like the music is so just like one person on a Yamaha keyboard.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't do it. I can't take him with me. And it goes on way too long. And then he starts walking away and he turns around to Kim and he goes, Kim, tell Chris I love him.
Yeah.
Walking away and just like the single keyboard is like,
it was very touching.
We have another terrorist meeting.
Oh, yes. The terrorists are prepping as well.
And then we get back to Maggie and she's like, I got a bad feeling about this, Charlie.
Yeah.
This one's for you, Maggie. Damn near everything I do is for you.
Yeah. And I like that anytime that she was upset, he did something. Like one time she's upset and he just buys her a belt and she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, Charlie.
I love this belt. Okay, go risk your life.
I love that, like, right when she's like, I don't like this, but... I mean, if anything happens to you, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I wish you wouldn't say words like that.
It's like, we have heard her say worse.
A pissed? That's the...
Pissed? Bullshit. Cotton Eye Joe.
Bullshit. Dancing with glee. So he takes off.
The case can handle any hit besides a hydrogen bomb. Don't worry. Okay, we're off.
Yeah, don't worry. So that made me, when he said that, I was like, oh, so it didn't matter if they took it out seconds before the car at the beginning blew up. They could have just left it in there and got it later. Still just
be sitting there, yeah.
So the tension that you built earlier on was for none.
Yeah, they're just stupid. Yeah.
So he says goodbye, calls Paul on the radio to says, make sure you get me this passcode. Why he doesn't already have the passcode from George makes no sense to me, but okay.
Whatever.
We just have to make sure everybody knows that Paul is smart and he's got everything worked out. But what happens when he talks to Paul? Huh?
Is Kim with them?
Kim grabs the radio
and
from
says,
Paul.
Hey, don't be mad that Chris went with you.
She says, tell Chris I'm mad for going.
Yeah, that's
tell
what
Chris
it is.
I'm mad for going. He's like, all right, honey, over and out. Chris!
Slams the brakes. Chris slams into the windshield.
He's like in the passenger seat. He's like magically in, like he'd been there the whole time. And Charlie was like, finally, for the first time, looked to his right. He's like, wait a minute, Chris, you've been here the whole time.
And they have a very touching, emotional scene.
Did you buy Chris's bullshit?
No.
He convinces him to go. He's like, okay, you're right.
Yeah. He agrees. Apprehensive, but agrees.
I don't think he gave a good enough
fight.
Yeah, I didn't buy the convincing.
No, but he does make a great point when he's like, I'll run the radio, I'll push the buttons. It's really hard to push like 4. That's hard.
But anyways, so this is the moment he agrees, and they go and they pick up the plutonium.
And there's a cool 80s helicopter shot.
Yeah, this is minute 50.
Yeah.
And to me, this is where the movie starts, at minute 50.
Yeah.
From this point on, this movie kicks ass.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Like that first 50 minutes, I know they're setting all this stuff up, but it's so unnecessary.
I wrote down, if trucks make you horny, this is your movie. Lots of sexy shots of this truck.
Lots.
This is a hot, sexy 18-wheeler. It's the only semi I've ever liked.
I've seen a lot of semis in my life.
Seen a lot of them. Most upset me. This one's really good. Yeah.
But like this right here is the movie that the poster promised.
Yeah.
This is the boom. We're off and running. It only takes
you right at an hour to get to it.
Yeah, 50 minutes. We've got 35 minutes of hell yeah.
Yeah.
And again,
the 2 dudes on a motorcycle. This is where they enter.
This
right?
Is one
the
dude
motorcycle
and
couple.
The motorcycle couple.
Yeah.
Comes up, and they're like, there's this weird flirting with Chris thing that's happening. It's like, wait a minute, are they trying to do like a threesome thing here?
Yeah. And then she pulls up a fucking bazooka.
Is it a bazooka? I thought it was a shotgun. I thought she pulled out a shotgun trying to shoot him while he's riding shotgun.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty big gun, but
she blasts, nothing happens.
Nothing, yeah.
Press button number 1. Fire out of the side of the semi.
Just catches her on fire.
Off to the side. And, I don't know how I feel about that. Look, son, I know what you're thinking, but we're going to get into some shit.
You just killed your first woman.
Yeah. You killed your first couple. You killed 2 people right now. And he's like, look, kiddo, this is why I didn't want to bring you on this thing. We're about to murder some folks.
Yeah.
Welcome to Korea.
You looked at that woman's eyes, and then you set her on fire. Get over it.
You looked in her eyes. You made a connection you thought was going to last a night.
Oh, I didn't know that's what the button did.
And almost immediately after that, 2 more bikers come up and just start throwing grenades.
Yeah.
Like trying to explode their tires.
Yeah, until they give up. They just are, but
this thing's built like a tank. We gotta run. Yep. They just go away. They don't try anything else. They just go away.
We're done. You won't see us again.
These things just like happen, like one after the next. They just
police car, a faux police car.
But Charlie's like, paper thin ruse, guys. I'm not buying this.
Yeah.
But then you got the police car, and then like dozens of terrorists on the rocks, up in the rocks, going like, "We're gonna get him."
Yeah.
What is that little like cow catcher that like just magically forms?
Yeah.
At the front of the thing, and they plow through that mess of vehicles. Explosions abound is what happens.
It's like
here.
the opposite of that church. Did you do that thing?
Here's the steeple.
It was the opposite of that. It goes. It was cool. It was like a barricade. It's like what you would want in a zombie apocalypse.
Exactly, and it just plows through this pile of vehicles.
Genevieve called the gunnies in the mountain in the hills hillbillies, which that made me laugh. It
made me chuckle. But there are so many explosions in this point where you just like, God, at this point we've probably already had like 8 explosions in 5 minutes. Yeah. They're coming at you.
Yeah.
They bust out of there, and then 2 slug bugs.
Yep, with the
missiles on the
torpedo
roofs,
missiles.
torpedo missiles. They're heat-seeking missiles, apparently.
Missiles. Yeah, that's what he
Which
said.
I love is it goes and he's like, that's why I put the stacks up high. Like, what?
Oh.
Heat-seeking rockets.
Rockets. Yep.
So he put the smokestacks like super high because he knew they'd have them heat-seeking missiles.
And then number 4 didn't work.
Oh, 4 didn't work.
Yeah.
Hit number 4 because, he didn't get them. He just didn't get them.
And he says to that one, "You asked for it," and slams him off the road.
No, I love that little part where he's like, where one of the slug bug guys was like, try to get ahead of him and take out the engine. And so he pulls it aside and he starts going, and Charlie runs him off the side of the road. And this part made me laugh so much. The guy in the car, the way he says, "Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God."
Yes. And the other guy laughs at him. Like, you guys are on a team together and you just watch it. Like, and
that's so funny.
Yeah,
because he heard him say, "Oh my God." He's like, what the hell was that, dude?
Okay, dude, we're tough, okay?
But he just falls into a ditch.
Yeah, I'll get the bastard.
But then Charlie's like, "Yeah, I got more tricks up my sleeve. Hit this one." Back of the truck goes up, and it's like row after row of 5-gallon Molotov cocktails.
Yes.
Just falling out of
the
back of the semi. Semi?
I hate it.
Oh my God. But he finally gets rid of that guy. The guy fell in a ditch. He's back.
He's back. "I'll get the bastard," he said.
"I'll get the bastard." And this is the poster promise right here. And probably the most badass scene in the movie.
Yeah.
This freaking semi 18-wheeler, I apologize, jumps over the train. It's only, it's only over, what do you call those things? The little flat cars. It's just over an empty flat car.
Yeah, like a trailer.
So they only really get up, I don't know, what would you say, 6-7 feet up in the air?
Yeah, but that's a lot.
It's a semi truck. It's just like,
yeah, it was
badass. Like that's you just watch something like that. The Beetle didn't make it. He corkscrews and explodes.
Yeah.
I love that he explodes.
Right after you got to know and love that character, Jeremy.
Oh my God! I wish we were in the cockpit while he was corkscrewing. Oh my God! And now we finally fulfill our foreshadow promise.
Yeah.
The scarred man also drives an 18-wheeler. This whole time during this chase, that just one thing happens after the next. We do cut back to Paul and the gals, Kim and Jilly, and they're trying to get their computer, that password. They keep hacking away.
Yeah.
And finally, this is kind of the point where they got it. They got the password, but for some reason the radio isn't working, so they have to get in the car and get closer so the radio will work. I don't know. They didn't explain it. They just went. They just hopped in the car and went.
Yeah, they just kept going.
So we got this 18-wheeler chase, and that jump ruined the radiator. So the 18-wheelers having some issues.
Yeah, and he tells Chris, "I've seen that ugly face before."
Yep. Well,
for me, I just love when people just call people ugly.
Makes me think of my mother.
It's just so
my
mean.
Relationship.
It's like beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. Like, you don't have to say,
what an ugly person.
It's mean, ugly.
Hey, look at that person. They're ugly. Oh.
There's something just so heartless about calling someone ugly. Not that this guy doesn't totally deserve it, but he doesn't know that when he just passes him in a casino. Ugly. Right. Even Jilly wouldn't fuck him.
And that girl has no standards. But there's a little cut in here. Charlie does something where he cuts off the
back
ugly
of the
guy,
truck.
And he that's right. He lets loose the back of the truck, and
and blows him up.
The ugly guy gets in and, crashes. And there's this wonderful jump cut during the crash where it's like he leans forward and it stops, so where you're like, cut, action, and then they break the window and put some blood on it, and they go, action, and then he hits the window. So it's like this weird cut where you're like, whoa. I mean, I kind of fall for it. It kind of works, but you realize what happened, which I love things like that so much. They make me happy.
The special effects team did their thing.
Yeah, I love those kind of jump cuts. And so the truck is braking. It's not going to make it. Who comes to this?
So this is the part that just confused the shit out of me.
Okay, what confused you? Because I was fully on board.
The fucking yellow truck. Where does the yellow? How did this happen?
He put the yellow truck in there, and it's already strapped.
So after he dropped off the trailer, and it had this huge explosion.
So there are two little sections. So it's a trailer, and then there's a smaller trailer kind of attached to the back. I had to keep looking back at it because I was like, wait, I'm confused as well. There was a little section where it could fit. I'll buy it. But I did have to kind of I did question it.
Yeah.
Here's my yellow truck.
Let's jump on here.
Charlie does a jump off the semi onto the truck.
Well, Charlie's stunt double. We all know Charlie didn't do that.
That was Forrest Tucker. That son of a bitch did his thing.
That was insane.
Like the semi 18-wheeler. I don't want you to get all traumatized.
Yeah.
He's like, he barrels down on them in the truck, and he's like, I love this because he goes like, what's he got in that thing? And Charlie, so matter of fact, a D12.
Yeah. I know.
That's what's in the semi.
You can totally tell. While Paul and the crew are coming to save them, whatever, Paul forgets his keys.
Whoopsies.
Oops, and has to go back in. And I said, oh, suspense.
Oh, and this is the wonderful part. Kim is like, I'm going to drive. And then as she's driving, they're like, are you sure? You're not a very good driver, woman.
Yeah, so really great. Like, what? What's the point of that? But now ugly Carlos is catching them. In the yellow truck, he's back.
So they get the passcode, right? They finally get there. They do that. The helicopter's telling the other the ugly guy, back off. We're too close. You got to back off. And it's tension, just straight tension. The passcode works, but it doesn't because it only holds for 5 seconds.
What was the point of that security shack?
I don't know. I'm really trying to figure that out. I don't know. Especially because George didn't give them the passcode.
No.
There's this little barricade that comes up and goes down. So they have to time it perfectly. They put the passcode in, tension's rising, they go through, it goes back up. The ugly guy just goes up.
Kills the bad guy. Yeah.
He kills the bad guy. Then immediately transports them into a laser tunnel.
Yeah.
This scene is in a different film.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a different pew, 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 pew. Keep pressing the code, and it's just the silliest lasers.
Yeah, it's like when you go to that laser tag in the 90s.
And the sound effects and everything. And when he says earlier, it'll cut any intruder to pieces. These things don't do anything.
No.
They're just pew, 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 pew. And they bust out of the cage, go in there, and George runs up to them. They've got security clearance. Guys, sorry about that laser tunnel.
Yeah. Whoops. So he asked his friend, why? Why did you set me up?
Why'd you do that? Why'd you set me up?
He's like, just let it go. Everything's good, okay? It's like, what?
You didn't tell me I was going to have to murder folk.
So then Charlie punches him.
Because you need that. You need that.
But guess what? Charlie knew what he was up to. And he informed the FBI. And now the FBI has to come and take his buddy. The guy he thought was his buddy.
Not anymore.
Because his voice was recognized from the chopper.
I love that you caught that because I didn't catch that.
That's what the FBI told him. We already recognized your voice from the chopper.
Oh, man.
They were in on the comms.
And she's right. There is a great speech about, she just chatted us. There's a great speech about friendship. I got all the friends. Well, you just lost one. And then just boom, credit song hits. And that song's called...
Well, they ask him, what are you going to do with all the money? Whatever the hell we want.
Then we hit the credit song.
Yeah.
Or you have one more thing to tell me.
No, that's it. And it's in memory of Clifford Wenger Jr. So while the writer was making this, he lost his son. I lost my dad. Because he was my grandfather. I claimed that right.
Thunder Run song through the credits, and boy, did I want to like that song. But there's this weird synth rhythm happening over a very weird drum pattern.
Yeah, I muted it.
It hurt my brain.
It upset me too. I muted it.
It hurt the melody was nice.
Yeah.
But the contrast between the synths and the drums hurt my brain.
Me too. I had to cut it off. It was like, no, I can't do that.
And that is Thunder Run.
That is Thunder Run.
Did you have a movie MVP on that?
The stunt team.
It's 100% the stunt team.
It's the stunt team.
The stunts were fantastic.
Yeah, just from I know we've both been on set when people were caught on fire, and it's rough. And they were doing a motorcycle trick while being on fire. Like, even just that one alone would have made me say that team, but it was thing after thing after thing after thing.
Explosion after explosion. Like, I wish I had counted all the explosions.
Yeah, they
specifically in that last 30 minutes of just like, okay, we're just going to have a bunch of shots underneath the truck with just explosions going off.
You don't get that today.
You don't get that. And like the Jilly's motorcycle chase, fantastic.
So good.
I love the old school car chases, those types of things where you're just like, no, this is just a bunch of people out there just doing stupid stuff.
Yeah. There was no, we'll fix it in post.
No, it's just a bunch of dumb people going like, yeah, I'm going to do that. You sure?
Yeah.
Yep.
They had chestnuts made of fire.
And I think that'll bring us to Remake, Reboot, Reimagining, Remaster, or Sequel. Woohoo!
So I want to see Chris in the grandpa position. And
that is exactly what I want. I want the sequel with Chris. I want, but I don't know if I want it maybe his grandson, but I want like getting the team back together. But like Paul and Jilly are like, they went through a really messy divorce and have 6 kids, but they have to come together, put aside their differences.
Yeah, they saved the cobalt mine.
Yeah, I want it to. So the first half could be that, like, Blues Brothers getting the band back together. Then it goes right into Fury Road or Italian Job with semis or not semis.
Not that kind.
So I love that we were on the same page of that, of just like sequel.
And we'd use that song again.
Which Born to Rock, the intro song. Hey, it's been used twice. It needs a third. Third time's a charm.
Yep, third time's a charm, guys.
It'll be a hit because songs from the 80s usually hit back around, to come back around.
The young'uns are gonna find it.
That'll bring us to this week's And for this week's Nostalgia of the Week, please welcome former Latchkey Kid, Barbara Booker.
Hey, happy to be here. What I wanted to touch on first of all is there's a big debate going on this TikTok. I'm not a part of it, but my children harass me with the trends and all of this from this Chinese format that they're all playing on. And they have a problem with the latchkey kids. I was a latchkey kid. They say that we claim to be the only ones. No, we claim to be the first ones. And we can ask the rats how it turns out to be the first of an experimental project. Somebody peed in our cornflakes, as we used to say. But I came across a lot of positives in my research. There are a lot of latchkey kids who pay their taxes, who are living debt-free. They have a home. Am I any of those things? No, I'm still just wearing the itchy sweaters. I still have a bad attitude. I have gray hairs. I have children that won't talk to me. That's what I got from it. They said we were more likely to have boredom, loneliness, and addictive personalities. Check, check, check. That's the things I got. So what I did have was a bad attitude as a child, and now it's split over into my adulthood, and now I still have a bad attitude. This independence that we have that's attached to our pride that kept us from going to the hospital when somebody broke our damn nose out, and our mom would come home from work. How was your day? It was great. And you just going to bed with a broken nose, rip my toenail off, riding bicycles at the end of the street with no shoes on. How's your day? It was great. I go and lay down and have nightmares about how it's going to grow back crooked and I'm going to be an eternal monster. But look, I got to eat the cereal I wanted. I ate popcorn anytime I wanted. We had those microwave popcorns with the butter just all over you all the time. My mom was so tired after work, she didn't care. She didn't give a shit what I was doing. So, plus it's snacks you want, so now most of us have diabetes. Freedom to rip your damn toes off, your damn toenail off, playing at the end of the street with no shoes on. And Michael Jordan is the greatest, number 23. He lives on forever in all of our hearts. He made us feel like anything was possible. It was a lie, but it got us through. And now just, pay your taxes. Back to you guys. I hope that helped.
And that's going to do it for us this week.
Yeah, what a ride. Love Thunder Run.
I love that run. Good.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, that first 50 minutes, it's a bit odd. It's a bit odd to get through, but once they grab that plutonium, you're off and running and having a ball.
Yep. Well, I'm Jenny Wenger.
And I'm Jeremy Briggs.
See you next time.
Bye-bye, baby. Ooh, do we call them B-siders?
I love that.
Bye-bye, B-siders.
Ecstasy. Yeah, here we go. Here's the, yep.